Are you looking over there? Do we have? Are we bringing anything up?
We have that clip of this person avoiding the question.
We do? Okay, let's bring up this clip. Yeah. This is a representative of the World Health Organization. Again, and not to be a sore spot, but you and I, we've talked about Taiwan. Taiwan kind of been left out in the cold here, and it's relevant. Here's the World Health Organization. I don't remember his name, representative, playing it off like he didn't hear the question.
The WHO considered Taiwan's membership. Hello?
Sorry, I can't hear you. I couldn't hear your question.
Okay, yeah. Let me repeat the question.
No, that's okay. Let's move to another one then.
Right, because wow. I'm actually curious on talking about Taiwan as well, on Taiwan's case.
What?
And he closes it.
What? Wow.
When you can, and keep in mind, I don't think this is a conspiracy theory at this point where you say China has not been, the Chinese government, they've not been honest or forthright about what's been happening with the coronavirus. Yeah. And the World Health Organization has not treated all nations equally. They've been carrying the water of the Chinese government, not the Chinese people. I don't know why the Taiwanese couldn't have a membership. Does that make, you might know more about that. Doesn't it seem like the Taiwanese should at least be involved?
Yeah. Well, the big deal, the nutshell is that China doesn't recognize Taiwan as a separate nation. It recognizes it only as a rogue state that is part of China. So any national or international organization that recognizes Taiwan instantly goes on the China shit list.
Right.
And they just say, look, if you recognize Taiwan as its own country, you're dead to us. And so the WHO is an international organization that receives support from another number of countries, and of the big five, China is one of them. Mm-hmm. And so when China says, hey, we're going to stop cooperating with you or funding you or whatever it may be, who knows what these conversations are like, but we do know what they could be like because it's the same public conversation that China has all the time. If you recognize Taiwan, you're dead to us. So we know what's happening here. And that reporter had an opportunity to ask someone straight up.
In a manner of speaking, she didn't really get the opportunity.
Well, right. I mean, set aside our political differences, China and Taiwan. In this pandemic, are we going to care about Taiwan? And somebody was going through a tunnel with their Skype account.
Yeah. And by the way, at the very least, it's relevant because of the way the government would be handling it, right? Sure. Taiwan, they would be operating autonomously from China, certainly in how they're dealing with this in their country.
Well, they would be operating autonomously. They would be getting support from a lot of their own supporters, which includes the United States. Right. They have a different government. But if you think about the places that are highly at risk, we're all concerned about Korea because it's so connected there to China, just across on another peninsula. Mm-hmm. Taiwan and China, the number of flights between those two countries, I don't know what they are, but the amount of travel directly or indirectly in that hemisphere that includes Taiwan is extraordinary. Yeah. So when you think about a place that's going to need support and certainly wants to know, does it have the support of the World Health Organization, and they can't even get an answer, it's a big concern.
And keep in mind, the World Health Organization, this is the organization that went with these studies, right? These projections, if you look at their Twitter, you look at their social media, that 2.5 million Americans would die. The idea that the Chinese government did great work and everything that they could to try and contain this virus. I don't know if they retweeted it, but certainly the Chinese government did. Their foreign minister repeatedly that this was actually a virus created by the American soldiers, by the way. And people were responding when Donald Trump responded in kind, calling it the Chinese virus. Why does it matter? Because they do not get to rewrite history. Yeah. Again, aiming it at the Chinese government, the World Health Organization. If you look at the timeline, all of the information that has been fed to the international community from China, World Health has echoed it almost exactly to a T. And then when questioned about Taiwan, again, who is an ally, the United States supports them. We recognize them, I believe. We certainly understand that they are. Do we officially recognize them as a country, the United States?
In some capacities, yes.
It's a complicated issue, but they operate autonomously in a lot of ways, in a way that we would actually be required to provide them with some kind of aid. And we do. They cannot even answer the question. That should tell you how terrified they are and how beholden not to the people of China, but to the government of China that they actually are. And keep in mind, this is the same organization that ranked the United States, I believe, 36th in international health care, right next to Slovenia and Colombia.